What is going on, everybody? It is Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we're going to be reviewing a 247 Sports 2024 NFL mock draft. I have a lot of work to catch up on today for my classes, so I want to give you guys something quick, yet something informative. If you guys want to see something that required a ton of work, and I would love for you guys to show support to it, go check out the tackles video that I just dropped. I have tackles and quarterbacks down, and there's over 15 players on both. So check that one out. It's awesome. It takes a lot of work because I want to make sure that, especially come draft time, those graphics are kind of already ready to use, and we can tweak them from there. Regardless, it's a fun one, so check those out. Check out the video I did with Brett Coleman, because yes, I did, and it is awesome. I love that video, and it's how to scout players properly, as well as we're going over some guys in this class. So you get to hear Brett's comments on guys like Marvin Harrison, Drake May, and Caleb Williams. Let's get right into this. Let's have some fun. And this is the first 247 one that I've ever reviewed, so let's check it out. So Cardinals go Arizona. Cardinals go Caleb Williams here to start out. Again, I think if they're sitting at number one, they're going to find a way to make this work. I know that the draft capital you can get from it is insane, but we've even seen with teams that usually do move out, like the Browns of the past, 3 first-round picks sometimes don't work out. The Raiders, 3 first-round picks didn't really fully work out, even though I love Josh Jacobs, but still, 3 first-rounders don't always make a difference. And I think that this would be the wiser move, because think about the trade value for someone like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert even. It's invaluable. You can't send 3, 4, 5 first-round picks and get one of them. You can't. So, it's very, very tough to be able to justify losing out on a player of a similar caliber here. So continuing on, we have number 2, the Cardinals, still here. I believe this is based on the draft odds, or the Super Bowl odds. Marvin Harrison Jr., if that's a 1-2, it's going to be a 1-2. And based on my own rankings that you guys can see right there, I also agree. Drake May is at number 3 to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. If they're sitting there at number 3, I think they do go QB. Drake May is not my number 2 QB in the class, but I can understand why he is everybody else's. He has great playmaking ability, but I do think that his placement is not great. It's in a much lower degree. I had the same, or a much higher degree in terms of this new player. Desmond Ridder had the same issues in my eyes. So I think Drake May is significantly better, but it's a similar issue that I had with both. And both of them were getting a lot more hype than I was personally wanting to credit them for. Brock Bowers is to the Colts. I think they should be going after an offensive tackle, but Brock Bowers is just a one-of-one beast. Jared Verse to the Chicago Bears here. I think if they're sitting at 5, they go Olu, or they go after someone like Jared Verse. I'm not going to bitch, moan, or complain about it. Olu Fashanu, speaking of, is next to the New England Patriots. I think that's a perfectly fine move. He was one of my, I believe I had Olu as a dream fit for the Patriots. Even if not, I think that it's an amazing spot. Patriots need to go after an offensive tackle pretty desperately. I think both of their guys are veterans on 1-year deals, so probably a good time to invest. Dallas Turner then goes to the Chicago Bears, so they went back-to-back edge rushers. All right, they went the top 2 guys, but if it pans out, edge rushers are extremely valuable. I don't fully disagree. Again, if it ends up working out that way, I would personally look at something more offensively. Like, I would rather went Olu Fashanu and then, either Dallas Turner, or, I don't think that the Patriots would go after an edge rusher. So you'll probably get Jared Verse and Olu Fashanu. I'd prefer that one. And let me know if you guys, Bears fans, would prefer that as well. But if you get 2 edge rushers, it's not the end of the world. I just don't think so far that this class comes close in terms of its edge talent to the past ones that we've had. Quinn Ewers then goes to the Commanders. I like Quinn Ewers a lot. I have a similar grade on him as you can see exactly where I have these guys. So I'll scroll down a little bit, because there's Quinn Ewers at 21 on my board. But Quinn, I have an exact same grade as Drake May. I think that he is a very talented quarterback that just somehow cannot hit the deep ball. Really interesting. Don't get it. But if he works on the deep ball placement, I totally believe that this guy could be an absolute stud. Emeka Egbuka going to the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay's been investing a lot of draft capital into the receiving core, and I think that this would be a very valuable addition. He also fits the overall mold of kind of a heavier receiver, and I think he'd be great. I would love him. Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, and Emeka Egbuka. I think that'd be a really nice group right there. And then you also have a really good tight end group. So it's a good way to build it up. JC Latham, I just did a tackles video. He is graded wise, I think he's number 13 on my tackles. He is number 9 that I ended up putting him at. I do have a concern over his motor. He does look like he gives up a lot on plays. I am just genuinely concerned about that. And I think he has the tools. It's just you need to be a little bit more of an enforcer. I don't think he has the power required to be an elite right tackle at the next level. And there's some really good right tackles in this class. I'd prefer to go after a left tackle for the Titans. I'd rather have Skoronski be a Pro Bowl / All-Pro guard and have a star left tackle here at this spot. But continuing on, Xavier Worthy to the Saints. I think that you're lacking that size that I think Michael Thomas probably won't be there for too much longer. So I'd prefer a larger wide receiver, again, like A.D. Mitchell. I love Xavier Worthy. Again, it's just hard to find a role where he's going to be returning the value of a number 11 pick unless they didn't have somebody like Chris Olave and that role was open. Kool-Aid McKinstry for the Rams is an excellent idea. I think that replacing Jalen Ramsey is probably the best thing you can do. Michael Penix to the Raiders. They've dealt with enough injuries as is with Jimmy G on the roster. I know the Raiders haven't, but Jimmy G has. So that quarterback room definitely has plenty of trips to the surgical room. Michael Penix also has. He just has a really long history of getting surgeries and season-ending injuries. It's pretty unfortunate. He's had very few seasons where he's actually ended them off healthy. But Michael Penix still is a pretty damn solid quarterback. I would not ever take him in the first round. Age and injury concern are huge for me. And I think that Michael Penix might end up being a day 3 guy, and people are just going to slowly realize it over time because of the fact that the NFL values health at a much higher degree than just pure talent. Mason Smith to the Texans is a fun one. I think building up that defensive front and continue to add to Will Anderson is awesome. 300 pounds edge rusher. Excited to see him back healthy this year after tearing his ACL last year. Giants going Rome Odunze. I think that's an amazing selection. I think that he would be a very good complement to someone like Jalen Hyatt for the long run. And I'm still looking for a wide receiver 1 there. So definitely believe that that would be an excellent move. Amarius Mims to the Broncos. I'm in full support of that. They can go either tackle position because I'm pretty sure they were trying to shop Garrett Bowles. So I think Amarius Mims would be an excellent selection. I need to rearrange my offensive lineman rankings on my board. Forgot to do that before this video. But, we ball. JT Tuimoloau going to the Falcons. Love that for him. Falcons could always get extra edge help, and they signed a couple of 1-year dudes, Calais Campbell, as well as Bud Dupree. JT Tuimoloau is the exact type of guy that you want to be moving into that position, or even Braylon Trice. I don't actually know if they'll need Braylon Trice. I was a supporter of this a couple days ago for them going edge rusher, but the more I think about it, I think Tuli Tuipulotu is going to be a star edge in the NFL. I did not give him enough credit where credit was due, and now I'm going to give it to him. So I think that Tuli actually will be a starter, and this will probably end up being a tight end, or maybe they'll try to offer a star running back because those have seemed to gain value in the NFL's eyes. We'll see. If Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs both work out, we will be seeing a new era of value in the running back position. Jer'Zhan Newton going to the Ravens. I think that's an amazing move. He could definitely be a great replacement for the aforementioned Calais Campbell. Michael Hall to the Detroit Lions. Defensive interior is one of those things they did not really address well. They got the poor man's version of Jordan Davis, I think, at the end of round 3. So you kind of still need that good defensive interior. It's very surprising that they didn't go that route, but it is what it is. Chop Robinson is next to the Seattle Seahawks. I don't disagree with them. Going after defensive line is never a bad thing, and I think it's one of the few things the Seahawks kind of neglected in this past draft. Leonard Taylor is next to the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm not going to disagree, but I'd prefer maybe looking at that edge position. You got guys like Latu here. There's a chance you don't pay Josh Allen. There's still, in my opinion, a vacancy there. I know you have Yasir Abdullah, but I think that's a 5th-round pick. But you still have that vacancy from Arden Key as well. Denzel Burke to the Vikings. I think we're starting to overhype Ohio State corners a little bit. I'm an Ohio State fan, but I'm also a realist, and I like to give you guys. Holy shit! I forgot Joe Alt wasn't taken. We'll discuss that in a minute. Leatu Latu to the Steelers. I don't think that's going to happen. Personally, I think that we're right now in the works of a new deal with Highsmith. I highly doubt we're going to spend a first round pick on one, but it does feel like an edge that we could be looking at in case we decide to pass on keeping Highsmith. Joe Alt obviously should be going earlier, my tackle number 1, but if he goes to the Dolphins, I ain't going to disagree with it. Nasir Stackhouse is not that great. He's not. I think that he's fine, but ain't no way in hell I would take him in the first round. That's just me. Cameron Kitchens, he is a very fun safety. Pretty sure I think he had 3 interceptions in a game or something. Definitely was some of the guys. He was one of the guys who was on my watch list. Good player. I think San Francisco needs to be focusing more on that right tackle spot. Y'all called that out. So love when you guys do bring up comments like that, because I brought him up as well. But after repeating him over and over again, like to usually change things up. DB, I think that definitely is something you can be focusing on, but right tackle as well. Could be looking for a successor at left tackle. Wouldn't be doing that in the first round, though. Antoine Wells out of South Carolina. He's a good player, but again, I think there's just much better wide receivers on the board than Antoine Wells. Rocket Sanders to the Jets makes absolutely no sense. I don't understand the logic behind that. He's actually quite similar to Breece Hall, and yeah, it's a bit of a head scratcher for me. I'd rather be going again like a right tackle, for example, or left tackle, and being able to get at least some form of talent there. Zion Nelson to the Chiefs. So many better offensive linemen, but at least they go after one. But personally, we're seeing a lot of guys be reaches here, but it's kind of cool to see some new names and talk about some players that are new. Zion, I believe, played only like 2 games last year as well. So he hasn't been that good, and then he hasn't even been healthy. I think he very well might be a UDFA. And then to end this off, we got Kingsley Suamataia going to the Bengals right tackle, but I think he's not athletic enough to be a right tackle in the NFL. I have a big issue with that, but Joe is relatively more of a pocket passer. It could end up working out pretty well in that regard. I would just be a little bit concerned with a slower player going up against guys like TJ Watt and Myles Garrett. I'd rather go after someone who has a little bit more athleticism, like Fuaga from Oregon State, who is my number 2 tackle in the class. Then you got Javon Bullard ending it off to this Philadelphia Eagles. He is a slot safety. I'm not a huge fan of that one myself because I'd personally rather value free safety. I think you have Kalen Bullock on the board, and I think that's just the best possible move for the Eagles, regardless of where they're picking. He's a ball hawk, and I think valuing that free safety mold would be a little bit better than a slot corner that you're going to try to put as a free safety. But that is going to be the video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this draft. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting me as always. See you guys on the far side. Peace.